What if your husband is trying to love you and you don't even know that you are pushing him away? What if the very thing that you have been crying out for, the love, the connection, the intimacy, the relatability, the vulnerability, it is actually being offered to you, but your wound won't let you receive it? My friend, I know that is a hard thing to hear, but today I need to say it. Even when the truth is uncomfortable, it will set you free. And hello again and welcome back to the channel. I am Doran. And listen, my friend, today I am going to have a very honest and very necessary conversation, one that I believe is long overdue. You know, recently I talk about why husbands cannot love their wives until they heal. And in the comment section, there's a lot of information. And in the comment section, something coming up again and again. Wives were saying, but what about me? I'm hurting too. I've been wounded too. And here's the reality. I know you are wounded. And that is the reason why we don't take sides on this channel. It's one of the reasons why I don't pick a side and say, oh, I'm going to just pour into wives and bash the husbands, or I'm going to pour into husbands and I'm going to bash and speak negative about the wives. No, we don't do that here. It takes two people to get married, and it's going to take two people to build a marriage right. And so we talk about relationship issues. We give you data and information to help to create transformation through your actions. But here is the truth. Here is the truth that we must establish. Healing is not just a husband's assignment. It is yours too. And if you have been carrying wounds from your childhood, from your past relationships, from broken trust inside this very marriage that you're in right now, then my friend, those wounds may be quietly and silently blocking you from receiving the love that God has given to you through your husband. He's trying to give you the best of himself, but you're guarded, you're protected. Maybe some of it is because of what he did to you, or maybe some of it is because what have been done to you. So I am going to uncover some issues today, wives, and why wives can't receive love until they heal. Now, let us look at number one, what I call the paradox. I want to paint a picture with you. Your husband has been trying, right? Maybe he finally came to the Lord. Maybe he's been going to counseling. You have a mentor. Maybe he's in my community. He's in my Get in the Huddle community where the husbands are and learning and growing. Maybe he's been putting in the effort, initiating conversation. You know, he's present and in the moment. He's saying that I love you more. He's taking you out on date nights and all that stuff. And yet something in you doesn't trust it. Something in you is waiting for it all to fall apart. He's just pretending. He's just the same way. Something in you say it's too late. I've heard this before. This won't last. And so you stay behind the wall. You stay behind the wall. And that is not strength. That is a wound talking. And it is very important to understand that because here's the thing. What happens to you is hurting you. You see, we have developed what I call a receiving blockage. That's what you have developed. You can't receive it. The love is flowing, but there is a blockage in the pipeline. It's kind of like you get a water hose and you crimp it. You knot it. No water is coming out. And no matter how much is poured into you, no matter how much is given to you, you don't feel it. You can't hold it. And so both of you are left frustrated. He feels rejected and you feel unloved. And yet the very thing that you need is right here. The very thing that you need is right there. Oh yes, it is right there. And this is happening more in Christian marriages than you can probably ever imagine or think about. And it is dangerous because a wife cannot receive love if she cannot be filled. She doesn't feel secure. She cannot feel love if she doesn't open up her womb to receive. She cannot pour into her children if she doesn't feel valued and feel connected. She cannot pour into the covenant that God has given her if she feels distant from you. And so here's the thing. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. You cannot give what you don't have. Oh, I'm trying to help you here. Trying to help you here. All right. Number two, we're going to talk about root causes. Let's look at the root cause because it is very important to understand what you may be carrying and where it came from. You have got to go back into the wound. Come on, talk to me. We have to go back into the past, or rather, go back into the root. Let's look at why the fruit on the tree have blemish. The fruit is not whole. The fruit is not polished. The fruit is not healthy. And the reason why the fruit is not healthy, it is because the root is damaged. So the scars and the attitude and the nitpicking and the arguments and the fight and the conflicts and all of those things, it is just the symptom of a greater problem. So number one, a father wound. Did you hear that? You see, my friend, your very first experience as a woman and about love, being in love by a man, came from your father. And so if he was absent emotionally, physically, relationally, he was not able to be vulnerable and express and share his love with you. You grew into that person, and you have now a distort picture of what a male love looks like, of how a man is supposed to treat you. You learn early that a man leave, when the truth be told, a man is supposed to be the protector and the provider. He's supposed to be the lover. He's supposed to be the gatekeeper of your heart. So now you believe that, oh, men don't show up. Men can't be trusted. And my friend, you brought that belief right into the marriage. It became the lens through which you see your husband. And the same thing goes for your husband to you. And every time he disappoints you, that old wound says, see, I knew it. I knew it. Every time he pulls back, that wound says, just like my father. This is not your fault. Somebody didn't take responsibility to love you the way you desire to be loved. It is also one of the reasons why you find that a lot of women are attracted to broken men, because their father was broken. Number two, past relationships, betrayal. Maybe before your husband, someone cheated on you. Someone used you. Someone said, I love you, and then they walked away. And you made a vow that nobody's going to ever reach my heart. Deep down, you are guarded, and you're never going to let nobody touch that deeper, innermost, vulnerable place of your heart. But there's no love without vulnerability, and there's no vulnerability without love. They go hand in hand. They live together. They share the same house. They live in the same room. And so you build a wall, a thick wall, a strong walls right around you. And now your husband is on the outside of those walls, knocking, baby, I got you. I'm here. I want to love you. I'm a healed man. And you don't even realize that you are the one keeping the door locked. And so he get blamed for things that you're responsible for. Number three, betrayal within this marriage. Yes, maybe it was infidelity on your husband's part, and he's supposed to be blamed for that. Maybe it was years of emotional neglect. Maybe it was words that cuts deep. Things that was said that hurt to the core. A matter of fact, it probably would have been better if he had, I'm not going to say put his hands on you, but some words hurt so bad that, and now you are trying to stay in covenant and you are doing the right thing, but trust has been shattered. You see, my friend, trust in a marriage is like what the foundation is to a building. No building can be erected or stand. Without trust, you cannot be vulnerable. Without trust, you cannot be open. Without trust, you cannot relate. Hello? You can intellectually know your husband loves you and still not able to feel that love. Oh, yes. And that is how deep these kind of wounds are. And number four, let's go to number four, a broken self-worth. And my friend, this one is perhaps the most common and the most hidden one. If you do not believe in your deepest heart that you're worthy of love, not just as a concept, but I'm talking about truly worthy, then you will unconsciously reject love every time it is offered to you because it doesn't match what you believe about yourself. The Bible tells us that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is not your heart. This is a vessel that pumps blood. This is your heart. The enemy will whisper, you don't deserve this. It won't last. He doesn't really mean it. He act change, he looks change, is not behaving like he used to. You know, his phone is now transparent. I have access to his phone, through his internet, through his emails. I can get on his social media. He comes home early. He don't hang out on the weekends. He's not partying. He's not drinking. He give his life to the Lord. He's much better than he have ever been. He's showing more affection than he had ever been. He's now a part of a good male community where he's getting coaching and mentorship from Not Easily Broken. And he is absolutely in the most profound place that I've ever seen him in years, and yet you can't receive it. I'm up in your business. I'm up in your business now. Because you know why? Because deep down on the inside of you, it was not just about him. It's now is about you. Because I always tell folks, if you decide to stay in the marriage, you cannot stay in the marriage and hold your spouse hostage for something that he did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Because if he's healing and he's getting better, then you have to heal so that you can get better. There is no forgiveness without love, and there is no love without forgiveness. You can't stay in that space, in that mess, and say, "Oh, I'm not going to take this medicine and heal. I'm just going to stay in this." No, get out of it. Move away from it. Change now. Get better now. Grow now. Heal now. Do it now. Because if you don't, you are denying yourself the best possible opportunity to become the best version of you. And so you're holding on to the residue of something that is not there anymore because it makes you feel good. And can I tell you, a part of that is really manipulation because it puts you in control. Because you remind him of what he was rather than embrace who he is. And so you don't give him the capacity to move towards you because it feels safer for you to pull away from him. And you know, my friend, before I continue, I want to ask you to do me a favor. And if you know that life is changing and you're growing and you are becoming a better version of you, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to comment this. I am ready to heal. I want you to declare it. I want you to believe it. And I want you to begin receiving it. Let us look at number 3, how it shows up. Can I talk to you about how that shows up? How these wounds show up in your daily lives, how it messed up who you are, how it becomes a part of your culture, and how damaging it is to the greater good of your life and your marriage? Can I share it with you? All right, let's go. This is how it shows up. You push your husband away when he gets emotionally close, and then you feel lonely. That is the wound. You interpret his very mistake as proof that he doesn't love you. That is the wound. You pick a fight before he can disappoint you because, guess what? Disappointing yourself first hurt less. That is the wound. You minimize or dismiss his effort. Oh, he's just doing that because I complained. That is the wound. You see, my friend, you cannot be vulnerable with him. You cannot let him see your tears, your fears, your soft places, because vulnerability has always led to pain. That, my friend, is the wound. And perhaps most importantly, you cannot ask for what you need, because somewhere along the way, you learn that your needs were inconvenient, that asking was weakness, that wanting love was just too much. And so you built a self-sufficient shell, and now your husband cannot find his way in. You built a wall, a vault around you. And my friend, I say all of this not to condemn you. I say it because I have watched this pattern silently destroy beautiful covenant between people genuinely who love and care for each other. And I refuse to let that happen to you without speaking truth. This is not a joke. This is your marriage. This is your life. And God has something better for you. Can I land this? Number 4, the healing path. So what is the answer? You know, I'm not going to speak into you and pour into you without giving you the answer. What does God's word say about this? Romans chapter 12 and verse 2, it says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You heard that. And that is the R in the grace framework. You got to renew yourself. You got to get better. No more fearfulness, no more being afraid, no more allowing the enemy to do whatever he wants to do with your mind. You got to take your thoughts captive. You got to take it back. You've got to tell the devil, you don't pay any rent here. You're not living for free in my mind, in my soul. I come to tell you, devil, that your season and your time is up. Nah, we ain't doing that. No more. No, sir. So you're going to renew yourself. Renewal means that I am going to grow spiritually. I'm going to grow relationally. I am going to take ownership of where I am. I am going to take the initiative. I am going to deal with my scars. I'm going to deal with my trauma. I will go to therapy if I have to. I will get a life coach, a mentor, a marriage counselor. I will get into programs. I will find communities. But I'm not going to make excuses for where I am anymore. I am going to make a decision that I am going to do what I need to do so that I can become who I need to become, so that I can live the life that I want to live. I'm done playing it safe. I'm done sitting on the wayside and feeling the pity old song and dance and the kumbaya and wearing dark clothes. And, no, you're going to put on your makeup. You're going to fix your hair. You're going to go out. You're going to eat right. You're going to exercise. You're going to serve the Lord. You're going to build a better relationship with God. You're going to do what you need to do so that you begin to understand that healing starts within you first. No more pity party. No more sitting back and wondering what's going to happen. No more, looking all sad and sulky and dull and none of that stuff. No, you're going to put on some nice bright colors that when you walk out of the house, people get to see you. Yeah, you're going to look at yourself and you're going to tell yourself, if it's going to be, it is up to me. I ain't sitting around waiting for no man to fix me. I'm not waiting for nobody to fix me. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to align with God and let God have his way. I'm not sitting back. Listen, I'm done playing it small. I am done playing it safe. I'm done allowing this imposter syndrome to make me feel like I can't make. I am done with all of that stuff. I'm done. I ain't that guy no more. I ain't that woman no more. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to own this. I'm ready to take responsibility for who I am and who I need to become. I'm ready. And if you ain't ready, too bad for you, because I'm not stopping for you. That's the attitude. And that's grace. That's the framework. God first, renew yourself, agree to honor the covenant of marriage, connect emotionally, relationally, intimately, spiritually, educate and equip yourself for a better life and a better marriage. That's grace. And I got to tell you, every marriage needs grace. And that's it. I'm done. And if you'd like to learn more about our marriage makeover coaching program, I would like you to do yourself a favor. I want you to click that link. I want you to book a free consultation. Get on my calendar. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. I want to see exactly where you are and how we can better equip you and position you for a better life and a better marriage. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. May God continue to bless you. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Oh, please like, please share. And you want to watch this next video. Oh, it's going to help you. May God bless you, man.